Alvarez turns the match on its head. Welcome, Micah Hamilton, to first-team action at City. Hits the shot, scores an absolutely wonderful goal. Now City coming forward, Haaland on the edge of the area. Haaland plays it in field, Alvarez tries to get there, and City have scored already. It didn't take very long. Julian Alvarez has popped it into the back of the net.
Really good goal, great little ball through. Haaland plays well, holds the ball up, defender backs off him. It's a fantastic pass, follows his pass, Alvarez overlaps, and it's a lovely, takes it round the keeper. 1-1.
So it's a City free kick in a crossing position, it's deep. Goalkeeper's missed it! It's gone straight in! The goalkeeper's had an absolute nightmare. He went to punch it, he missed the ball completely, and Alvarez celebrates. Well, Alvarez played a bending cross into the box, the goalkeeper's ball all day long, and he just missed it. On it goes to Rodri. Rodri just outside the penalty area. Trays a little shot. Oh, that is beautiful. What a goal that is from Rodri. He just mazed his way into the edge of the penalty area and then caressed it. He didn't smack it, he caressed it.
That's his trademark finish, Rodri. Such a cool finish. And like you say, he just passes the ball into the net. You just felt something was coming, so many touches in the opposition penalty box. When it did come, it was a fantastic finish from Rodri, a joy to watch.
Kanji plays it across to Lewis. Lewis helps it out wide to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva coming off the line onto Lewis. Lewis in the penalty area. Good ball in. Foden hits it. City have their goal. It was only a matter of time. RB Leipzig were all over the place. Their defensive woes have been so apparent. They've just cleared it anywhere, desperately at times. And it is the 2,500 City fans in the RB Arena who are celebrating as Phil Foden gives the Blues the lead. Guardiola just about on the cusp of the final third. Now Doku's in the final third. Can he get beyond Simicast? Plays it into a gap for Alvarez. Alvarez with a bending shot! And City are in front! Julian Alvarez! What a fabulous finish! Round the goalkeeper, into the corner of his net. He's not been on the field long, but it does not matter when you've got the talent of Julian Alvarez. Goal number 6 of the season. City now lead 2-1 in Leipzig. As Round puts in the ball, which is headed away well by Walker, up towards Haaland, cushioned into Alvarez, a lot of space to the left for Doku. Is the passing going to be correct? It is. Doku, chance to finish it off, does do. Leipzig 1, City 3, wonderful counter-attack goal, and on target for City, 2 substitutes in the second half.
Alvarez has got 2 players picked from Haaland or Doku. He plays an excellent pass in front of Doku for him to run onto. Takes a touch with his right foot, opens the goal up and slots it comfortably into the empty net.
He's in the left wing position, plays it into the gap for Kovacic. Kovacic in the penalty area, goes backwards towards Rodri. Rodri clips in the ball. Diaz with a header off the bar. Akanji on the rebound. City in front, and it did come of sorts from a set piece. And it's the Swiss international back on home soil. His first goal for City of this season. He scored last season in the Champions League. He does so again today, and it's City 1, Young Boys 0. So Haaland, a little bit of a run-up, not a very long one, steps up, and it goes in. I think Rasiopi got a piece of that, but it still goes into the back of the net, and it's Young Boys 1, City 2, and after a pretty ragged few minutes, that is exactly what the Blues needed. Lewis on to Rodri, maybe think about shooting Rodri. Instead it goes to Haaland. Haaland, can he get his shot away? You bet he can. Works it from left to right, and with that bending right foot shot into the roof of the net, City have their 3 points, and Haaland has his second goal. Takes a deep breath, as he so often does, has a pretty short run-up for a penalty taker, and scores easily. Very, very easily. Into the gap for Grealish. Grealish takes it away from the defender and waits, pass out wide to Foden. Foden into the area, goes Foden, keeps going, scores a beauty. took it on from the right wing position, got beyond the last defender and bent it round the goalkeeper into the side of the net, and right on the half-time whistle, City have a 2-goal lead. City coming forward, Haaland on the edge of the D, works an angle, hits the shot, scores an absolutely wonderful goal. Erling Haaland, he span away, got to the edge of the D and clobbered a left foot shot into the roof of the net. And by my reckoning, it's the 3rd time he scored outside the area since he became a City player. Foden's on the ball now, he slips it through, Haaland's down the middle, Haaland! City are back in the game! Lovely play by Foden, wonderful finish from Haaland, and the Blues are right back in this game. And who else but Erling Haaland with a goal?
Phil Foden on the half-turn, played the first ball forward instead of going backwards. Brilliant finish as well, fantastic finish from Haaland. It's Simakan that has got a massive problem. He doesn't know whether to stay or whether to come in short with Foden. And Phil keeps finding little pockets. It's only a matter of time before he gets on the half-turn and threads another ball.
Played it into Foden, Foden in the box, Foden, 2-2! Wonderful finish from Phil Foden, seconds after Andy Morrison predicted that he would be the key, and he most definitely is.
Just found a little pocket, and I think it's Guardiola. There, he's just in that little half space there now. And I just said, take the ball. Brilliant, fantastic. And a massive pat on the back for Andy Morrison to see the early.
Yeah, love it, absolutely love it. Lewis and Ake and Rodri and Lewis and Doku towards the edge of the area. Plays it to Foden, Foden across the face of the goal. And City score, and Julian Alvarez turns the match on its head. 1 goal for Foden, 2 assists for Foden, and Alvarez maybe has won the game for the Blues.
Yeah, it looked all too easy, but again, you know, Phil Foden this second half he's just been magnificent. He's been positive, he's got into areas, he's asking for the ball, he's pulling the Leipzig back 3 or 4 all over the place and just opening up space, and great composure from Alvarez at the end.
2 goals and assists for Phil Foden. Matheus Nunes helps it out wide to Micah Hamilton. Micah Hamilton in the penalty area. Little jink round the back and hits it into the roof of the net. Welcome, Micah Hamilton, to first-team action at City. You will never forget the night that you made your Champions League debut and scored a goal as well.
And so early, after just pushing it into the space, goalkeeper doesn't know it's coming. It was right over the top of him. And let's just hope it stands as a sensational finish on his debut.
Lewis, Bob getting towards the final third. Bob stepping in, keeps on going, is in the penalty area. Still Oscar Bob, brilliant goal. Absolutely magnificent goal from Oscar Bob. The academy boys are graduating in style.
Well, I said he'd want a piece of it, but I didn't think it would be that good. Sensational run. He's just committing people, and then when it looks like there's no room left, it's brilliant finish. He just opens up his body, inch perfect, wonderful finish.
So Calvin Phillips looking to score his first ever City goal, his first ever Champions League goal. Can he make it 3-1? You bet he can. Absolute delight for everyone who's wanted Calvin Phillips to have moments to savour as a Manchester City player.
A very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us for this special Match Day Live as we find out who Manchester City's opponents will be in the first knockout stage of the Champions League. I'm Natalie Pike and I am thrilled to be here today with 3 lovely guests, as always. First of all, we've got England and Manchester City defender Esme Morgan. Welcome. And, of course, we have 2 of our favourite guests, of course. We're nice to you sometimes, then, and we're nice to you sometimes. Michael, and we're nice to you sometimes as well.
Rarely you, Natalie. Rarely.
Michael Brown and Nedum Onuoha. Welcome. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Good to be here, yeah. It's exciting. It's the draw. Let's go.
You looking forward to it? Have you got your eyes on anybody in particular?
Obviously, you know, I'm pretty biased. I want Copenhagen because I played there before. But outside of that, no, I think it's exciting. This is the business end of the Champions
We've got it in early. Why did you want Copenhagen, Nedum? Any ideas?
I scored there. I don't know if anyone knows.
Why didn't you just say that from the off? Because you obviously wanted to.
The problem is, it's not that long ago since it happened, but finding footage is actually quite tough.
Right.
So yeah, it
have
did
we
happen.
not got a clip?
It did happen. That's what you need to know. It did.
I mean, as soon as it was mentioned, wasn't it? The WhatsApp groups lit up. He's like, Copenhagen, that's who we want. That's it.
This is my European legacy, so...
It's going to happen.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And the plan is, by the way, if we get Copenhagen, we're going to hire a minibus. We're going to put him on it with some of the other people from that, like we did with the legends from Luton. But we can all go on it as well, and we're going to drive to Copenhagen.
I prefer to fly if it's possible. But...
No, it's a minibus.
No, I think he should go on his own. We'll meet him there. So all the footage is about Nedum, and we'll enjoy your trip.
No, I think he's wrong there.
We'll all fly there and meet you there.
No,
special, isn't it? Road trip with Nedum.
Hopefully we'll get someone else there.
Road trip with Nedum, I like it, yes. You fancy anybody in particular today? You haven't scored against any of the possible teams we can play?
I think we know that's not happened, is it? So it might be the odd pre-season one or something. But, it's at this stage now, isn't it? Nobody wants to play Manchester City. I think that's the point. Everybody's probably running scared. It's great that the second leg's at home, but Copenhagen will be great. You're looking at the weakest opponents, possibly statistically, if I can even say that. So yeah, we'd take Copenhagen. You want to stay away from PSG. I think that's a cert, isn't it? Inter as well. Is it too soon? But listen, I think nobody wants Manchester City.
So the draw will start at 11 a.m. It's taking place in Switzerland. We'll be here throughout. We're going to go through who City can draw. We're going to have a look at those teams. And, of course, during the draw, we will be talking through it with you, telling you what is happening, who's coming out, who's drawing who. So we'll be going through all of that with you. So thank you very much for joining us. Stick with us. This is the best place to watch and hear about the draw. Before we move on to more Champions League stuff, though, Esme, you've gone on your winter break. So yesterday was the last game in the WSL until the middle of January, when you'll come back with an FA Cup game.
Yeah.
What a way to finish this part of the season.
It was a lovely end to the calendar year. We've had a good little run of games recently, and yeah, Bunny getting another hat-trick. I think that's her third of 2023, which I believe is a record. So yeah, she's on fire, and it was the perfect hat-trick as well. Left foot, right foot header. So yeah, not bad.
And she's back top scorer in the WSL again.
Yeah, she is. She came very close to it last year. So, I mean, she's got very good people supplying her, which I'm sure she would put it down to. Maybe not, but yeah, she's been doing a great job.
Been supplying her?
Well, we've got Hemp and Chloe on either wing, but I mean, that was a lovely one from Layla. I think Steph Horton's going to take credit for that, actually, because earlier in the game, Layla had tried to play one in behind to Bunny along the floor, and it had got cut out, and Steph sort of shouted on from the bench, Layla lofted it. Next one, she lofts it, and Bunny lobs the keeper. So
yes, Steph.
That was gorgeous. Little roll of the centre back, and then bottom corner. Yeah, really good win. We played really good football as well, so felt in control throughout. I mean, Everton managed to score a fantastic goal. I don't know if you've seen it. It was edge of the box, top corner, but Jill Roard's been a great signing for us as well. That's what I think bringing her in, they were hoping for. More goals from midfield, and yeah, she's been on great form recently too.
Gareth said in his post-match interview that it's one of the best performances that you've had under him.
Yeah, I think, well, managers obviously want results, but Gareth's also very sort of performance and, yeah, that kind of focus as opposed to outcome. Sometimes if we play well but lose, he'll not be as upset as if we play badly and actually win the game. But yeah, yesterday we were in control. We played a lot of nice free-flowing football, lots of good patterns, and Everton never really had any sustained spell of control or possession.
Gareth wouldn't get upset, would he? Never. Not the Gareth I know. You know, he's always very...
He must have changed.
Calm,
he must have changed then, Michael.
He always keeps one level, always happy. I can't imagine that in the dressing room. Never.
Well, the juicy info, obviously, that everybody wants. Has the happy Gareth Taylor let you guys, are you having some proper time off, or will you be training at home? What is a winter break like for you?
Yeah, well, I think it's about 2 weeks until we return to training with the team. So we get a few days off feet now, and then we're back into sort of ticking over and stuff. Because obviously coming back in January, there's a risk of injury if we just have 2 weeks completely resting, eating pigs in blankets and roast potatoes. So there's definitely an element of training, some pitch sessions, some gym, just
Come on,
keeping
tell the
everything
truth.
ticking
You're not
over.
going to do that, are you?
I
You're
am.
going to say the whole
Straight down the camera, I'm going to do my programme.
Yeah, no, she's
pros are different,
talking
though,
about it, but I'm not sure. I reckon she'll have some nice trip plans, be on holiday, feet up.
I am going away, to be fair, but I'll find time for some
right.
exercise.
Where are you off?
Berlin.
Oh, lovely. Christmas markets.
Yeah, see the Christmas markets, little bit of history, some cuisine.
Mulled wine.
Do you know, I did try mulled wine the other week and I wasn't too keen on it. It kind of tastes, no, it smelt like mince pies taste. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Kind of like fruit.
So there's always been a lot of talk, hasn't there, about the winter break. Like, what's your thought on it? Are you looking forward to it? Do you think it's come at the right time? Do you want it?
Yeah.
I always played all the way through, and I really love playing over the Christmas period. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, well, we've never done it. We've always had a Christmas break, so to us it's kind of the norm. But I think coming off the back of the World Cup, we didn't really have a break all over the summer and then coming straight into the season. So I think just mentally being able to switch off from football for a few days is needed.
Thank you. Thank you. If you would like to ask our guests any questions like that, indeed anything that you'd like, the WhatsApp number is on your screen now. Use that when you get through them. I'd like some Christmas questions, I think. Obviously, we're here to talk about the Champions League draw and serious football topics, but I'm going to ask you all later what your favourite Christmas film is, because I think that's the info that people want. So, Christmas questions, if you'd like to ask them as well, we'll probably get to the top of the list of me reading them out. So, use the WhatsApp number there. So, we are about 10 minutes away from the draw starting. We'll talk you through all of everything that happens. Straight away, let's just have a little list down of the teams that City can face. So, of course, you'll know by now that we finished top of our group, 6 wins out of 6, only the second English team that's ever done that in the Champions League. 6 wins out of 6. So, that means City go in winning the group as a seeded team, which means that City will draw a team that came second in their group. However, at this stage, of course, you still cannot draw a team from your own country, but that doesn't matter because Arsenal finished top of their group and, of course, Manchester United and Newcastle finished bottom of theirs. So they're not in the draw. I just had to get that in there. And so we will play a team that finished second. These are the possible options for you. So Copenhagen, Inter Milan, Lazio, Napoli, PSG, Porto or PSV. One of those 7 teams will be our opponents. So immediately, of course, we know that Nedum wants Copenhagen for his reasons, but respectfully, and I mean this with the greatest respect...
You don't mean... If you have to say respectfully, it's probably not going to be respectful, but carry on.
Is Copenhagen the preferred draw?
I think so. I think quite a few people would probably be surprised that they made it out of their group, you know, given the fact, was it that they had Galatasaray and they had, like, Man United in there as well? Yeah, exactly.
They did draw with Bayern, though, 0-0.
Yeah.
They did, yeah, but... When you see the other teams, you see more of like a European history as such, and even though some of that stuff isn't supremely recent, you know, you do have more belief in them as sides, especially with the crowds and the way they travel and so on. So I think Copenhagen would be a nice one. We've seen City beat them last year. Obviously, they drew 0-0 away from home, but it was more of a mixed side, and they were down to like 10 players for 75 minutes or something. That is the one that looks like it's the easiest without being easy. But, you know, it's the knockout rounds of the Champions League.
It is the easy. I mean, they're delighted to be even in that position. They probably, 100%. When they've seen the drop, there's no way would they have even got through it. And again, psychologically, I keep saying as well, if they draw City, I just think it'll be oh no. Yeah. I think the fear factor's in straight away, that the position they're in, and I think it's a really good draw. I think that's the one you want for sure.
Of course, you have to respect the fact that they've got here because they had a decisive victory over Galatasaray to qualify. Mentioned they had the draw against Bayern Munich. They beat Manchester United, so they've worked hard to get to this point.
Well, yeah, that's a given. They've got the performances. They found a way to get results, to get points under a little bit of adversity as well. And you know, results, certainly not necessarily performances. They were slightly fortunate in a couple of those games as well. So at that point, you'd say, you know, you'd certainly be looking for those type of games to come. I think it's the one you've got to target. But I don't necessarily fear anybody in the draw. I don't know what you think,
No, I
made him.
think, I think that's fair.
Looking at that now, you'd say, well, no, bring it on.
I think for me,
PSG's a bad one, but they're not performing, are they?
Yeah, but the PSG are currently top of their league. I think Inter are top of theirs as well. So this is to talk about the now, but I think the danger is in forgetting that this game will happen in 2 months' time, or however long it's going to be. And all these teams could be in different positions. That's why the Copenhagen one's a big thing as well, because they're not going to be playing, aren't they? You know what I mean? Whereas the other teams will be in a flow. And it's not to say City won't be in a better position, but some of these teams might be as well. I think timing in the Champions League is also key. But City are the champions for a reason. They are going to have the second leg at home for a reason. So you'd fancy them overall in any of these ties. But there are certain ties we feel a bit more comfortable, I guess.
Do you think we'll be in a better position by then? Do you know when you talk about recovery? Obviously, a couple of not so good results.
Yeah.
So obviously
the
got a bit
dates
of
for
a
your
break.
reference there, you are right. It's 13th and 14th of February for the first leg, or the 20th or 21st of February. So you are looking, it is mid to end February before the game.
Yeah. You would think that City's position in this season would be more clear in February. And
well, that's where the runs start to happen.
What it tends
That's my
to begin,
point. That's where I'm going
some
with
players
it. The pressure starts to go and they say, right, it's almost like we're ready to go now. We've got everything sorted.
Yeah, and for context again, I don't know if you guys would agree with this, but this is after the January window, which will affect a lot of sides, whether that's City and others around them or, say, these teams themselves. We'll have a clear look about what team's going to be like, because, again, come February, it's more definitive, isn't it?
I might say in the obvious as well, there might be a certain player back in the squad as well, which, you know, Kevin De Bruyne.
A certain player that's currently out with the team in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, but you know, I just look at, you know, I think whenever you go to later stages in these competitions, etc., somebody like him, I think, changes the outcome. I think it'd be a great lift to the dressing room, wouldn't it? Just having him straight away on the training pitch. The second he goes on that training pitch, starts joining in, and I think he demands from the others. I think that'll be a big turning point for the group.
For everybody as well.
For everybody.
For everybody.
It'll take him time.
Fans.
I don't think
yourself as well.
For me.
Everyone.
I think
Please,
everyone.
come back.
I think as well though, with that type of injury though, it will take time.
Yeah, 100%.
So I don't think we have to put too much pressure too soon. But looking at that timescale of the draw, I think that will be where we'll just start to see him.
Yeah, you get the feeling that obviously he can't have a full season, so he's going to want to have maximum impact. And if you're coming back in the second half of the season, like that's arguably the most exciting part. And if you can find any sort of form, you know, good health, consistency, like you could have one of the best players in the world come back to try and help you push to try and be successful.
What a joy. What a joy. And he looks refreshed, because we had the evening with Kevin De Bruyne last week and he looks refreshed, cannot wait. So we're thinking Copenhagen, perhaps maybe a preferred draw. You mentioned PSG, but I'm immediately looking at Inter and thinking, I don't fancy... Oh, God, no, that's not fair. I'd rather not. I'd rather have somebody else, Esme.
Yeah, I tend to agree, to be fair. When you're looking at those teams, I'd definitely pick out PSG and Inter as teams I would rather avoid. Obviously, they gave us such a close run in the final last year and they're going to want revenge for that. Yeah, I think they were just so organised in that game and really, really hard to break down. City in the first half just weren't finding the spaces. I think John Stones was constantly on, but we just weren't managing to get the ball to him, and their game plan just worked perfectly, the way they were shifting left and right so fast. And so that's going to be a really tough game, especially away, like in their own home ground. In the first leg, you want to just kind of try and get a result. Don't concede too many goals and give yourself a mountain to climb.
The difference with the final, though, is the two-leg situation.
Yeah.
I think that just changes so much. Do you know,
In
I
our
always
favour?
felt in our favour for sure. I just felt like it was difficult for a one-off, a final. You know, that's the difficulty of the Champions League. But I think, you know, with the way the game's set up, I think it's much better than maybe we're fearing.
Yeah, than a one-off. I tend to agree, because I think City have the mindset of going away, keeping it a bit tighter, as they did sort of Real Madrid semi-final last year, and then being much more expansive and free-flowing at home. And you have the confidence that at the Etihad we'd be able to overturn any sort of deficit, but obviously with the optimism that there wouldn't be one there from the first leg.
Interesting as well, because when I started reading up on all the teams, you know, keep an eye across Europe, but not in detail. When I started reading up about everybody and how they're doing, Inter are having a brilliant season so far. They are top of the league in Italy. They are a good few points clear. And if you look at, I think they're 14 or 15 points ahead of Napoli, of course, who won it last year, which might say more about Napoli. But they're looking really, really strong. And from everything that I'm reading, they're feeling like they are a lot better than they were 6 months ago.
Yeah, I think that is fair. I think it's them and Juventus who are the two sides who are pushing up there. And Napoli are having more of a down season, which is a shame for them. But after such an historic season last year, maybe that's going to play into their minds a little bit. But Inter are a good side. They are confident, but again, they are beatable. You know, there are different ways to do it. And as Michael was saying, it's the fact that you have a home game as the second game. If it didn't matter, then you wouldn't have seedings whereby you were granted that benefit. So there is something there. Inter, I'm sure they're happy and confident that they can beat anyone being in this round at 16. But if they were to draw it up, they would draw it up so that the second game is at home, because these teams are so good that home advantage definitely matters.
Yes, we're all agreed that we're very happy about the...
Delighted.
We're delighted.
You remember last year the feeling when we saw that the draw for the quarters and the semis? But all the air left the room when it's like, well, it's Bayern Munich away second.
Yeah. So that's Inter. Should we, since we're talking about Inter and we're talking about the Champions League, do you want to watch Rodri's goal again, just because?
Which goal are you talking about?
This one. Just because.
What happened there, Natalie?
It's
after that. What happened?
What is that when I broke down and melted and nearly broke the glass in the studio
I don't
we were
think
in?
my eardrums have recovered from Nedum's screams when that went in.
At least I only screamed once, and that was screaming for the whole game. That was the issue.
Yeah.
He struck that hard as well, hasn't he?
Do you know what? When I was obviously we were there watching it, and I just seen it was like slow motion, and the ball set, and I thought, this is it. Do you know, I just felt like he was going to score, but it was that weight as the ball just passed into the corner, because it was...
It's class.
You didn't think... Yeah, it was getting tense, wasn't it? As it was not going to happen. There wasn't going to be a breakthrough.
That was beside herself.
That was so calm. It was so calm and under control for the whole time.
Never.
Yeah.
My whole body just went tingly, by the way, watching that goal again. Literally, like, it's never, ever going to get old, that goal. And I love that we're talking about Inter Milan Champions League, so let's just watch Rodri's goal. Could just watch it over and over. So the draw will be starting any minute. We will keep you updated as the draw happens. We'll give you a full description of everything that we can see. So we're sort of saying Copenhagen preferred draw, probably Inter Milan at the other end of it, and we're putting PSG in there as well. We've had some tasty games against PSG over the years. They nearly didn't make it, though. That group was tough.
That was an incredible ending, wasn't it? Newcastle. I mean, when you've seen the draw for them, thinking that they had no chance, and then they were in it. It looked like they might have managed to get it. But the key decision, wasn't it? You look at the penalty that was given against Newcastle. I think, change it. I mean, would they even be in the draw now? Very, very cruel.
Yeah.
Key moment of the game, and we've seen some poor decisions recently, and I thought Newcastle were very unfortunate. They have had no squad, no team, and that's probably helped the situation that they couldn't actually qualify. But the players that they've got are so dangerous. That's something that you've always got to be aware of at any point. But I don't think it showed in the Champions League their performances were as good. Yes, in the league, I think that's a given, isn't it? But I just feel like it's a better time to play them than it has been.
Yeah, of course, Newcastle beat them 4-1 in the group stages. And it took PSG to the last game to qualify. Interesting stat about PSG, I mean, just highlighting their attacking prowess that they have. They've scored in each of their last 49 Champions League group stage matches, stretching all the way back to 2015.
Okay.
Like, attacking-wise, yeah.
Fair dues.
Yeah.
Fair
Right,
enough.
isn't it? It's not bad.
It's a good stat.
Yeah.
That's one of your good stats, to be fair.
Yeah,
That's one of your good stats,
what do you mean, one of my good stats?
It's one of your good stats.
One
Take it for whatever that is.
of my regular good stats.
One of your good ones, yeah.
It's really good from the gallery to give you that in your ear, wasn't it?
It did not. It's on my own notes that I made here, my own research I was doing last night. Thank you very much. So PSG then, and I guess the other teams were just kind of, whatever, confident, feeling happy, whoever we get.
Yeah, I think you look at the others and you would back City to win home and away against all of them, to be fair.
Yeah, I think
PSV be interesting.
Yeah, because PSV, all they do is win this year. I think have they still won every game in their domestic
That'd be an
league.
interesting time, wouldn't it?
The way that I'm seeing this now, looking at it, if a draw is being made for a group stage and you got any one of those teams, how many of those would you be thinking you're pushing for the top spot in the group for? And then you start to limit, you're probably thinking maybe PSG, maybe an Inter Milan, and the other ones.
Do you think the supporters would look forward to that trip?
Which one?
PSV.
Well, I look forward to every one of those trips, yeah.
You know, they always look to tick box different ones and
Definitely, yes.
different places.
My only concern sometimes from a fan perspective is that some fans, they don't watch any football outside of, say, domestic football. So they might not necessarily understand what PSV are all about. They might just catch the fact that they were in Arsenal's group or whatever in the group stages. So sometimes you arrive with overconfidence due to sort of lack of understanding of like how good they can be. So it's not that they'd get complacent, but I think they're more comfortable with things that they know.
I think some of the City fans now just want a different...
What a nice spot to be in, by the way.
Different place, go and see.
You're right.
So we talked about that, didn't we, the last draw with the young boys. I was saying, what a good place to go and see, and a different place. And
yeah, I wanted Union Berlin just because of the difference in it. The interesting thing about PSV, their manager Peter Bosz, he's a self-confessed Cruyff Guardiola fan. Okay. So if we were to get PSV, we're going to see an interesting style of play that perhaps we might recognise. So that would have a nice differential story in there. Also, I can see that the draw is starting, although not really. You know, they're doing the chatting thing that they do. So we'll update you when we start seeing the balls going in the bags or whatever they're going to have, because they're currently just
chatting, basically saying how good everything is, how good everyone is. That seems to be the way that these draws work now.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are the best, and you're here because we are the best. Yeah.
So we'll let you know. I'm going to have a look, see if we've got any WhatsApp questions so far. Oh, Sophie, your question's getting read out straight away. Well done. You
wonder what this is.
You knew what it was I wanted today. You knew the assignment. Sophie wants to know, what's your favourite part of your Christmas dinner?
Favourite part? Whoa.
Brilliant.
Specifically, my mum's roast potatoes.
Yes.
They're the best. Mum, if you're watching, same again this year, please.
How does she do them?
Crispy?
I don't know the detail. I know there's lots of different times in the pan and in the oven, but they're so crispy on the outside, but fluffy in the middle. They're unbelievable, honestly.
We're all going to the Morgan house. Yeah.
Can we get some sent? Can we have a preview? Can we get some sent?
I'll see if she can make some to bring in the new year.
Get them early.
So we'll get these guys' favourite part in a minute. Just to let you know that we're currently seeing a montage of John Terry, which makes me think that he must be doing the draw. Don't know why we randomly see a montage of John Terry. 109 Champions League appearances, they tell us. So I'm expecting John Terry to be making the draw. Yeah, it's a fair assumption.
Yeah, I'd say so now.
OK, right, what's your favourite part of your Christmas dinner?
I think I would have to say the roast potatoes as well. Like, I'm not really a roast potato kind of guy.
Who makes them?
It would be my father-in-law, and he's very, very good at that. Like,
we'll have to have a roast potato.
You want a roast off?
Yeah.
All right, OK.
Roast off.
I'm backing my mum every day.
Yeah, you do. Biased, aren't you?
Brownie, are you a roast off?
I've got to say, I do enjoy my turkey, to be fair.
OK.
But I think the pigs and blankets might be the one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since I turned vegetarian, the only thing that I miss is pigs in blankets at Christmas.
I didn't want to say it because I thought, you know, I knew you were a bit
upset now.
But you know, they are.
Sorry, no.
It's so good, isn't it? It's the best. Why do you only have turkey that time of year? I don't know if anybody else does.
Turkey's the most bland meat ever.
Right, OK.
OK, fair enough.
I really like it.
All right, fair enough, yeah.
I was having this debate of whether someone's having one of my family members having just a turkey crown, and I said, no, I need to have the whole thing.
Okay.
I have to have
Thank you, Sophie. Thank you for your question.
Good debate.
Yeah, thank you all for joining us on this Champions League Matchday live draw show, where we are finding out interesting things about our guests as well. So John Terry is now on the stage at the draw. We can see in the crowd all the representatives from the club. So, of course, Cheeky is there representing City. Hopefully we'll get a chance to hear from him later on. They're currently chatting to John Terry. And as soon as they start doing the draws, we can see the different pots on the screen, the different options, and Road to London 2024, because, of course, the final of the Champions League this year, or next year, indeed, this season, is at Wembley. So we'll tell you as soon as they start drawing them out. Next question up. Serious question. Thank you very much from Ali this time. Do you think City can win the treble again?
Whoa.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. I don't think there's any doubt, but it's just so difficult because everything's got to fall into place. It just tells you how difficult the Champions League is to win. I think that's the point as well. I think the final makes it difficult as well, that one-off game against the opponent. And but who could back against that? I mean, Nedum, sure? Or
yeah, no, I'm not sure. I agree with you. I think they can win it. I think, again, the difficulty of it, like, how many times have we seen it in our lifetimes? And even still last year, as you look back, there were so many key moments where one game could have completely disrupted the whole thing, whether it was in the league, whether it's that FA Cup final, or even like the Champions League final. So you do have to be perfect, so they can, but it is very, very tough, as you say.
I think the points tally now in the Premier League is obviously as well slightly concerning. Obviously, a couple of the results and the late equaliser from Palace just makes it a little bit harder, a little bit more difficult. But you do believe in this side to go and get results at any point, longer runs, as we say. But it's hard to bet against. But it's just then everything's got to go, hasn't
Everything
it?
has to be flawless, yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, that's it. Like, you get towards the latter stage of the season, you have to win every single game from pretty much March onwards, with the FA Cup being straight knockout, Champions League knockouts. There's just no room for a slip-up. And I think how City did it almost so dominantly with such memorable results last year, people forget how hard it is. And, yeah, you can become a bit immune to the difficulty of winning 3 very, very tough competition.
That just tells you everything, doesn't it? With Crystal Palace result, you look comfortable. It looks like it's going to be there, and there's a better situation, and it changes. And that's the Premier League. That's what you're up against, and that is the difficulty. That's why we love the Premier League and love that sort of uncertainty. Like, I did expect, maybe 6 weeks ago, I expected there to be actually a points gap. I thought City would go into this period now, maybe with a little bit of a gap, but actually that just tells you how tough it is.
Yeah, definitely. It's so close up there, and with Aston Villa up there competing this season as well, it's a little bit different. Thank you very much for your question there. We've had a WhatsApp in for Bish, who's really annoyed with me and says turkey isn't bland. Sorry, Bish, it is.
Oh, wow.
That's why you need gravy or cranberry sauce with it.
Oh, my God.
I do love cranberry sauce
Wow.
with there.
Wow, I can't believe he's texting you, protecting him like that.
Bish is fuming. He's put 6 exclamation marks on the end of it.
Shout out to Bish. Stick up for yourself.
I wonder if Bish.
Do you overcook your turkey? Is that
I don't
why
cook
it's
turkey.
so dry? But when, do you know?
No.
Have you seen it in America? They fry it. Have you seen that?
Really?
Yeah, they fry it, yeah.
What, they like slice it up first
No,
and then
no,
fry
no,
it?
no.
Fry
The whole
a whole
thing?
turkey?
Whole thing into like a big
I've
vat
got
of oil.
so much I could say, but I feel like I'm going to offend a lot of.
Don't say it.
Yeah, I
viewers.
wouldn't, Nat.
Don't say
Yes,
it. Now's
we'll
not the
move
time,
on. Now's not the
not
time.
Now's not the
Kylie,
time.
thank you very much for your question. I love it. So that's what we think. She says, so that's what you think about the guys with the treble, but what about the women? I'm feeling good about this year.
Yeah, I've got a good feeling too. I think the WSL's so unpredictable this year. Take the other weekend, Chelsea got battered by Arsenal, and then Arsenal this weekend lost to Spurs, who we beat 7-0 just a few weeks ago. So it's such an unpredictable league, and it's really tight at the top. We're second now, 3 points off top spot. So yeah, well within touching distance, and looking forward to the FA Cup starting in the new year, as well as finishing the Conti Cup group. So hopefully in a couple of months' time we'll still be firing on all cylinders in all 3 competitions, so definitely within reach.
As long as you do
Very
that
much.
training over the Christmas period.
Yeah, exactly. I can't be slacking.
If you don't do that programme, Gareth will be getting mad, won't he?
So the first runner-up's just come out, and it is Porto. They're pulling out the first winner of a group, and it is Arsenal. So Arsenal, does that mean Arsenal play Porto?
Yeah.
It does. So Arsenal will take on Porto. That is the first draw that has come out. So we cannot draw Porto now. So cross that off your list if you are there. So they are drawing out now. It's John Terry. He's taking out the ball. He's unscrewing it and pulling out the little piece of paper, which he then shows to us. The next runner-up that is come out is Napoli. So what will happen now is they'll pull out the next ball of a winners group of the teams that can draw Napoli. So Real Madrid cannot draw Napoli because they had them in the group stage as well, and they cannot draw another team from their country as well. So yes, okay.
Have you messaged John Terry yet to say Copenhagen? Nedum?
Have I messaged him? You think I've got his number? You lost your mind. No, that Porto one's interesting because I would have minded them as well.
I agree. I think Arsenal have done well.
That's a good draw for Arsenal, I believe. It's a very, very good draw for
Arsenal, Porto, you think they'll be happy with that?
I think Arsenal will be happy with that. Again, same reasons being second as well.
Okay, Barcelona will be playing Napoli. Ooh, that's a tasty one. Think Arsenal will be happy with their draw, Porto?
Yeah, I really do. I think you're looking, they'll be looking to progress. They're getting obviously more compact, getting more used to these situations that they're in. I think they'll be pleasantly pleased, and it'll be a draw that they'll feel like they can go and get through. I think they'll be tough for sure.
Yeah, I think...
Paris Saint-Germain's just come out for the runners-up, by the way.
I think it's interesting. Well, the Barcelona-Napoli, was it Barcelona-Napoli? Yeah. Those two sides, whoever gets through, I think that will be a desired draw.
This is big, Natalie. It's coming out now.
100%.
It's coming out.
Here we go.
This is a big one, isn't it?
Here we go. It's definitely.
This one, too. Well, we don't want to say. I don't know. Whatever it will be. Surely.
Why does everybody feel like there's a nervous energy in the studio?
I feel like we're about to get pulled out.
Yeah.
Because the odds of your team coming out are getting higher and higher. You know what I mean?
Very
That's
close.
what
So
comes out.
John Terry unscrews the ball for the team that will be playing Paris
This would be some tie, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Here it is.
Okay.
Oh, that's an anticlimax.
How can you see that?
Real
I've got my
Sociedad.
glasses on. Oh, Real Sociedad. Okay.
Yeah.
You lot will know before me because I have not got my glasses on to see that. So PSG have drawn Real Sociedad. So we
It's
are
still
not
there,
out
Nedum.
yet.
It's still there.
It's still in.
Just
Nedum's dream of Copenhagen lives on.
Yes, it is.
Do you know what?
The one that everyone wants to see.
I think
Copenhagen.
If we're honest now, that was a good miss, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, but Inter's still in there. It was... Right,
Here we
Inter
are,
have
Inter.
just come out. Inter Milan have just been drawn by John
What are you
Terry.
thinking?
This is it, isn't it?
Do you think?
I think this is it. Yeah.
We just
Do you
said
think
that
this
about
is
PSG.
There's still 5
This is it.
teams.
Yeah, I know, but it's the one that you say this is it.
I think
maybe
a better game.
hoping that
Bayern
it's not.
into Milan,
It
that would be
would.
better for just
Yeah.
European. Yeah, Bayern.
Anyone else, to
Yeah,
be fair.
pull out
Yeah,
Bayern.
go on, give them Bayern.
Pull out
That's what we say
Bayern. That'd be the
now.
right thing to do. Pull out Bayern.
They've given the pot a really, it looks like a goldfish bowl, a really, really good stir there. John Terry is now opening up. Can you lot just
I'll
let me know
tell
who
you
he
quickly,
draws?
Natalie,
Thank
you can't
'Cause
see
I have
it.
not got my specs on. Right,
I won't mess
John
about,
Terry
promise.
shows us the card.
Oh.
Let's go.
Atletico Madrid!
Yes.
I've got to say, there's some cracking ties now.
There are.
Amazing.
Cracking ties. Just from a European heritage standpoint, that's top tier.
But this is what we are coming to
Yeah.
that sort of stage.
It's true, but
I'm so
again,
happy.
a positive.
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
Well, there's still more to come, but I suppose the positive is, like, you're going to see one of the really big teams disappear there. You know what I mean? And let's go
Yes.
into or out. Going into the next round, should City get through.
So PSV.
PSV Eindhoven have come out now.
Yeah, this is it. This
I
is the one.
honestly, I think
You've said
it's
that.
a great
That's
No, but I
position.
mean it this
Don't you?
time. I mean it this
Right.
time.
Yes, and it's not because I fear anybody. I just would rather not play
No,
them.
well,
at
why
this
would
point.
you?
I'd
You
just
look at
rather
the
wait.
easiest,
Yeah.
the lowest rank is the one you want, isn't it?
That's funny
The least
because
perform.
so many people say, you know, if you're going to win it, I want to beat all the best teams. It's like, no.
I just want to win it.
I just want to just win against the team in the
No,
final.
yeah, you're going to come up against the good teams if you progress.
Okay,
in
so
that.
the team that
Champions
are going to be
League
playing PSV.
It's here now,
are-
Natalie.
Okay, Michael Brown, you ready to tell us?
Oh, Borussia
Borussia
Dortmund.
Dortmund. The Copenhagen dream lives
It's on.
It's well on.
Nathan's heading
Well on.
home.
It's well on. Yeah.
I once did a
It's
draw
on.
for
What's
UEFA.
left?
Did you?
Yeah, for the
this Lazio.
under-19 Euros. So I think
Lazio.
my under-19 team had won like the Fair Play Award or something. So I went to, where is it?
Yeah.
This is
Switzerland, yeah.
Lazio Copenhagen last 2 years.
Went to Switzerland to the UEFA headquarters and did the swirl and pick out. I wasn't allowed to read the card.
It's a bit
That
hard.
They didn't trust you to
someone
read the
else
card?
had that responsibility. No, but I had to do. They said make sure you swirl it properly so you know there's nothing dodgy going on. Can confirm there aren't heated balls.
It's happening.
Oh,
It's-
shocking.
I think it might be happening, you know.
What? So
This
There
is
are
it.
two left.
It
There are two
is.
left.
Oh,
They're two left now, or is that
just
it?
drawn Bayern Munich. So we think by our
Are there not two
calculations
left?
there's only us in Copenhagen left.
Yeah, I think
Copenhagen
so.
are out.
Yeah.
Get on the phone to the minibus
Is that-
right now,
is it not number
production
two?
team.
No, I think it's.
Do we think?
No,
Oh, no, there's still two. They
No.
can draw us or Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, gosh.
Who's the other-
Cancel
who's
the
the other team
minibus. Okay. Who's the other team? I'm looking quickly.
there's Inter Napoli. Lazio.
No, it's a definite because of Leipzig.
Leipzig, yeah. So, yeah.
So it's a definite. Copenhagen. Why did we even have the draw? We knew it was
Sorry,
going to
everyone,
be, didn't we?
God, your
Can we
highlight
run
package
Nedum's
is
goal
gonna be
in,
playing.
please?
Has anyone
Yeah.
on this sofa scored against Copenhagen?
Just
Oh, it's just this guy.
No,
Just this guy.
Natalie.
Just
Yeah,
this guy.
actually, you know.
Just this guy.
Oh my goodness. So Manchester City have drawn Copenhagen in the knockout stages of the Champions League. Leipzig got Real Madrid at the end there, by the way. So yes, it could only be us because we'd already had Leipzig in our group. So City have drawn Copenhagen. So Arsenal got Porto, City got Copenhagen, if you're keeping an eye on the other English teams. So we've been joking about this for the last week since Copenhagen got through. Nedum Onuoha, how are you feeling about getting your dream draw?
Do you know, it's not as exciting as I thought it would be, you know. But I think there are some really, really good games in there. I think from a City perspective, you'd be happy to see an opponent you've seen before and know that you do have... It's a wider gap as such. You expect City to be able to do it. It's not going to be easy because Copenhagen have rightly entered the draw as such. But when you think about the other teams you could have gotten and the nature of some of those games, like, for me, it's a favourable draw. And I think they'll be looking to sort of capitalise on that, definitely.
Imagine what they're thinking now.
Yeah, not these again.
I think that's the one for me. Straight away, they've gone, oh, we're in all sorts of trouble. And I think that's a really big thing. And I think, looking now, the guys will be watching the draw, you know, ready to, obviously prepping for the game out in Saudi, and they'll be, I think the club and everybody associated will be delighted with that draw.
Yeah.
I think it was a really good group going, looking and thinking, well, we should finish top, and then with this draw, I think it's sat perfect. I think it's a fantastic outcome. Couldn't get better.
You coming on the minibus, Ez? We'll get you some time off.
I'd love to. It depends on our fixtures, doesn't it, really, Nat? But if the schedule falls
we
nicely,
can have a word
I'd
with
love
Gareth,
to join you. I'd love to join you.
But she said
there's
there's no way she's not going in a minibus, she said.
Oh, OK.
Too far.
Well, now's a bit, to be
I'll
fair,
fly.
so it's fine.
Nedum thought you were going on the Nedum minibus.
No chance, no.
You happy with that draw?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, prior to it, we were speaking about them probably being the most favourable of all the groups. And having beaten Manchester United, hopefully we can, do Manchester proud and get a result against them.
I like that because, of course, they beat Manchester United 4-3 in the group stages. They've only got through to the round of 16 on 2 occasions previously. That was in 93-94 and 2010-2011. So this was a big, big achievement for Copenhagen to get through to this round. In terms of key players, in terms of Copenhagen as a team, Rasmus Falk has over 300 matches for Copenhagen, has been one of their key players, has won Player of the Match twice in the Champions League group stage so far as well. Who knows anything else about Copenhagen?
Ellie as well. I think they've got difficult. I think they've got a player suspended as well. Raj, who scored in the last game, he's got a red card, so he'll be missing. So that's a key moment for them. Somebody who they'll miss. So I don't think there's a major threat. There's players who have obviously got great experience, like we've mentioned, but they've got results, they've got confidence from their group, but I just think it's a brilliant game. They never. What's great, I think, about City and Pep Guardiola, they never underestimate anybody.
Yeah. And
I think that's the point. Everybody gets the same respect. Everybody gets that understanding. But again, I just think, I don't know. If you're in the dressing room now, what you thinking? Saying, are you thinking that's perfect? I don't know.
Yeah, you'd be pleased because obviously you look at some of the other teams in the draw and we all had a funny feeling when PSG came out that we were coming next, and you would rather avoid the team that's got Mbappe and the team that you played last year in the Champions League final. If you can avoid them, then it's definitely a positive. And as you say, you would expect to beat Copenhagen. They'll prepare in exactly the same way as they would if it was PSG or Inter or one of the other teams that have made it, but you would expect and be positive and optimistic that you can win comfortably over the 2 legs.
So Copenhagen currently sitting 3rd in the Danish Super League, but it's tight. They're only 3 points off the team at the top. Midtjylland.
Played against them, do you remember, back in the day? That
UEFA Cup.
UEFA Cup, yeah, played against
good memory. And second is Brøndby, if we ever played against them.
Yeah, not played against them, no.
I think we've played against Brøndby in the Champions League.
See, this is
a few years back.
Fully Danish self for this.
Fully Denmarking ourselves up here. Love it. And of course, the fans will have a lovely trip out there as well. I've never been myself, but apparently it's lovely.
Can I just say something, by the way? I saw on the screen, Bish, do you remember the guy you criticised before?
Yeah.
His first City game was 2009.
Do you think it was Ian Bishop that was texted in?
No.
Okay, right.
But he said shout out for the first game he went to in 2009 when I was playing against Sunderland. That was also Mark Hughes' last ever game. So that's quite funny, but shout out to you, Bish. I see you, wherever you are. I see you. Yeah.
Okay.
That's my job done. I'm just connecting with the audience. That's why we're here.
We like it.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. The audience appreciates it.
Oh, Bish does anyway.
Thank you. Bish really does, by the way. Thank you, Bish. So, other interesting news is that the Danish League is now on a winter break. They resume on the 18th of February. So, these fixtures will either be the week before or the week after they return. So, you're looking at the 13th or 14th of February or the 20th, 21st of February. That is for the first leg. The second legs are then in March. If they're coming off the back, they'll either won't have been off their winter break yet or they'll have had one game back. How will that affect it?
either way, it's tough for sure. I mean, coming back into our FA Cup game, we've got a friendly the week before and an in-house 11v11 prior to that, so you've got match exposure. And I can only think, like, you come into the start of the season and things aren't necessarily clicking and flowing, and I presume they might have incomings and outgoings in the transfer window as well. So having those players gel prior to the start of their season is going to be really tough. Yeah, that's not ideal preparation for them, I don't think, whereas City obviously have a really busy Christmas period, and going into January, Feb, there's a high volume of games, so we'll very much be in the flow.
Will some people think that you're in the flow, or will some people say, well, OK, you're going to be fatigued at that point, and that rest, you might be really fresh? It's a different mindset. Do you know what? How do you manage that situation?
I suppose there's an element of that, but City is so used to having this high volume of games, and I feel like end of Jan, start of Feb is when the famous City run-in starts to click into place and they get their momentum.
Yeah. What would you rather? Would you rather be coming in for your first game or to have a flow game?
Well, again, it's tough, isn't it? Because it depends on how they're going to load those sessions, but really, it's just too long, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think if you're asking me. But some people would say, right, I would need the rest I was asking you. But when you go for 2 weeks, it's different to when you're 4 to 6, you know, without playing a particular game or along. That's the difference.
Yeah, so Copenhagen were the lowest ranked team in the draw, ranked 79th on the Euro Club Index. Now, you've got to show respect, though, because they got out of a group, of course, that involved Manchester United and Galatasaray as well. Why did you give a...
Because I'm so
chortle?
So stupid. Like, because listening to Manchester United and Galatasaray, like, they are good teams, but their name is greater than the team itself right now. You know, so it sounds like that's a really big European achievement. But, like, both teams themselves, they're not exactly at the peak of their history as such, is it, would you say? You know,
I get that. Well, they're not performing, yeah,
that's
100%.
I mean. So it sounds impressive, but reality...
I still think they have done unbelievably well
yeah.
to actually get to this stage. When you look at the squad and you look at the resources to other European clubs, I think you've got to give them credit. So they're doing something right, and that's why they will have that respect. But I just think, how many times can they continue to do it?
Felt like that group was basically Bayern and then 3 other teams just toying with each other more or less, you know. And Bayern are the class apart who aren't even necessarily favourites to go and win this whole tournament itself. So I think it's a great achievement, as you say, but, you know, it doesn't feel like they're going to be carrying much weight beyond this next round, in my opinion.
But a message in from Jade on the WhatsApp who says, a return to Copenhagen is amazing. Nedum can shine again.
Listen, it wasn't a great finish for the goal, so I'm somehow
Can you
glad.
talk us through it, please? I don't recall seeing it.
OK, that's probably a good thing. So there was a turnover on the left-hand side, and we won the ball back, and Stevie Island, I think it was, that played me in. So I've taken a touch, burst through, and then I'm sort of through one-on-one. But Craig Bellamy's to the right.
Why were you so high up the pitch?
I think it came from us. Well, just because it's fluid football.
I've tried to find it.
It's tough to find.
I've had a look. I've tried to find it.
Do you remember? We used to play liquid football back then. But anyway, so I'm through, and Craig Bellamy is just to my right-hand side. He's asking for me to square it to him, but I ignored him. I tried to curl it in the far corner, keeper's left.
Why the emphasis on tried?
Because I didn't do it. It was one of the worst finishes you've ever seen, straight down the middle towards the keeper. And the keeper must have been so thrown off that he basically just, like, fell over the ball and he went in. Right. It's the most embarrassing goal that I talk about a lot, but I'm glad that nobody's seen, because if you saw it, you wouldn't even take me seriously.
Michael's going to find it now.
Have to be looking at find some other ones are coming up.
I'll show you off.
Some other ones are coming up. We're trying to find it.
What was the headline that the media world used? Because Alistair Mann, the commentator, was telling us the other day, wasn't he? We were all giggling.
Don't be calling out to the gallery to get that headline. We don't need to know it. Just know it was an important goal for City in Europe, and I scored it.
Oh, you squirmed it in according to the BBC?
You know. Just typo.
They all count. They all count.
They all count, yeah.
Yes, Nedum, it is your time to shine. We're absolutely thrilled. So City play Copenhagen in the Champions League. So, interestingly, that means that there are 5 other teams left in the draw who we beat en route to winning the Champions League last season. So still 5 teams, 6 including Copenhagen, I'm getting confused, that we played last season to get to the final of, or to win the Champions League, which again just gives us another chance just to have a little reminisce, about it, and to look at some of those key games that we had from last year's Champions League. So we're going to start off again, much like we did when we just watched Rodri's goal from the final because it was great. We're going to have a look at Haaland's goal from last season. So, Haaland, Champions League, what jumps to mind?
Well, it's probably this one. Like, you know.
Well, it's on.
Everything about that's outrageous. The ball in, I'm never trying to cross like that. Just never even attempted anything like that. It's got nothing to do with me, that goal whatsoever.
It was just an outrageous goal, wasn't it? The setup, watch, he has a look up, and that is such a difficult technique. And how he finishes it, I mean, look at that cross. And then the finish, how he gets like that into that position and to guide it back across.
Like the average person just flings themselves to try and head it, don't they? Not.
Do you know what's mad for me is the actual
choice
of foot that he uses.
Yeah.
Do you know, for that position, you'd generally favour your right foot coming back across.
Yeah.
But how he's gone with that side and managed to then guide it back across.
Yeah, it's like the type of technique you'd see when you're seeing people play like head tennis or something of like a high net, one of those like tech ball things.
Yeah.
There's no way anyone's thinking that's the right thing to do in that moment.
Have you ever had the flexibility to get your leg up that high?
Once upon a time, yes. But I never needed to do that, you know. I just always keep it on the deck, move it back, you know, liquid football. Yeah, that's
did any of you practice that when you were kids, like just for a laugh in your living room?
Overhead kicks and all that stuff.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Never really did it in training, though.
And what did you use?
What do you mean?
To land on?
No, what were you practicing when you were doing your overhead kick? Did you like? Did you have a small ball, or was it imaginary?
No, it had to be imaginary because if I actually made connection, I just destroyed my
because you were in the
room.
living room. Did you ever put your socks all together?
Socks is a shout, to be fair. Socks is a shout.
We used to use a balloon.
Oh, a balloon.
Yeah, we used to play with a balloon.
Forever, couldn't you?
Flick it up, boom.
My son and his friend were in my living room last week practicing their overhead kicks. So.
Did they break anything?
No, they had a softball, and obviously they weren't connecting either because they're 6.
It must be so nice to score a goal like that. Or just scoring goals in general. How many have you got, Esme?
I'm still on 1 for City. 3 in my senior career.
Look at him.
I've got time. I've got plenty of time to catch you up, Nedum.
What's wrong? Is it timing or?
Well, a lot of the time.
Just the ability to score.
What is it? You're nervous?
No, well, as a defender, most of your goals would come from set pieces, wouldn't they?
Well, perfect.
You know, but because I'm pacey, they like to keep me back to stop the counter-attack.
You literally have
set plays.
60-70% possession.
So should we put a request in for that
then,
for a slight change around? Gareth, see if you can.
See if I can get up for set pieces.
See if you can go up because you're getting a bit of stick on Matchday Live about.
It's all right. I can cope with it.
It's year 2, still waiting for Esme to score again, but it's fine.
All right, Nedum Onuoha. He scored against Copenhagen. He's getting giddy now, Es.
It's one of several, yeah, but that's fine. Yeah.
He squirmed it in against Copenhagen.
If you ain't seen it, you don't know if it's a squirm.
Stick.
You don't know if it's squirmy yet. You don't know yet.
So defenders can score, can't they?
Of course, you know what I mean. Like we didn't score a ton of goals back then, but I scored. But you know, here's a team that's like top scorers in the division.
Role.
It's not mine either. Don't worry about that.
I like to keep the team ticking over, feed the ball to our more talented players. I know my place. I'm not trying to do things that aren't my super strength.
She's not trying to squirm goals in just for the sake of it.
She's trying to find excuses.
Are you not practicing at set pieces or something? Is that what?
Yeah, no, we do a set-piece practice, and I'm rather prolific, actually. But hasn't yet translated to games.
He's killing you. You're giving him everything. Don't actually get it.
Right, I'm going to get away from this, Leslie. You're doing a great job. So Copenhagen in the next round. Of course, we played Copenhagen last year, which means that we can have a look at some of the goals from that game against Copenhagen. I feel like it was 0-0 away, wasn't it? Because that's why no one scored. That's why you still there. This is Julian Alvarez from the home game against Copenhagen last season. I mean, we made that look relatively easy there, Nedum.
Yeah, it certainly did. I remember this was around the time where Jack was starting to come into real good form. And in this sort of game here, you won't get a stat about an assist, but that drive he made from midfield was a big part as to why this goal happened. And that touch and ball from Mahrez, oh my gosh.
I miss Riyad Mahrez.
So look at that. You know what I mean? You don't need people doing that to you. But they were very much dominant in this game. And once they started getting the goals flowing and so on, then you saw like the best version of them. And that 0-0 in Copenhagen, I think Sergio Gomez was sent off very early in that game. So that made a difference. I think it was one of 2 games back-to-back that they probably drew 0-0 in the competition. So it wasn't perfect. But I think you saw United this season go down to 10 players and really struggle. Whereas for City, they managed to just maintain that clean sheet and get a point away from home.
It is amazing, isn't it, when 10 men happens, how Pep's still demanding from the side, take the ball.
Yeah.
More, keep the ball. It's like, and you're thinking, oh, they've had a few passes, still not good enough.
Yeah.
More, control it. And it's so tough, isn't it, when you're 1 down to actually have the belief and the composure to take it. And Oh, it's amazing how City can react in those situations. I think that tells you everything, doesn't it? Absolutely. In that adversity, they'll still say, well, we can still win the game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely so. That was the Copenhagen from last season. Let's have a look at some of the other goals from last season's Champions League. So here was Leipzig. So this was our last 16 opponent from last season. Oh, Kev! Oh, it's so nice to see him there, Esme. Here comes Kev.
Well, especially scoring goals like that. Yeah, he's just magic. He's so good. And he'll probably be someone who benefits from obviously you never want to be injured, but just being able to have a bit of a rejuvenation period. I remember after I broke my leg, I came back and I just had so much energy. Like, I was flying around the pitch, felt so fresh, and especially mentally as well, you re-find a love for the game a bit. And yeah, I'm sure he'll be raring to go again. The team have missed him. He'll have missed being on the pitch, and I'm sure we'll see him at his brilliant best when he returns.
He was really disappointed when he got the injury on this occasion. He was really down, and you could see it affecting him in a big way, and it does, because you know that's a big injury and it's going to take time to get right, and he will be itching to get on that pitch. He'll be itching to put things right, to go and help the side, and there's stuff like that, isn't it? I mean, that's just sensational what he delivers and the assists that he brings, and it'd be good to have him back.
Yeah, it was nice to see that in that last 16. So it reminds me, of course, about that last 16 game, which of course we were so dominant in.
Was it 7-0 or 7-1?
7-1 over. Was it 7-1 over the two legs or 7-1 at home? Yes.
8-1.
8-1 over the
two legs. Was it 1-1 away?
I can't remember.
Vardy scored. Yeah.
I'm ashamed to say there were so many goals I can't remember.
Yeah, it's like Gundogan or Mahrez scored away from home. Yeah,
8-1.
8-1 total, yeah.
Yes, 8-1. And I feel like it really set us up for after that. It was so dominant. It sent such a message out that after that I was like, oh, this is our season.
Absolutely. Reasons to believe, you know.
It was like that, and then, to be honest, the draw threw me a little bit.
Yeah.
If I was honest, I was thinking, oh, that's tasty. But
yes. I think my reaction to the live draw show that we did for that when we got Bayern Munich and Real was a little sick in my mouth. But hey, it worked out all right.
Yeah, it certainly
It worked
did.
all right in the end. Right, what goal are we going to look at next? This is Bayern, this is the quarter-final, this is that game. I don't know why I was so worried. That's just me. OK, so this is the quarter-finals against Bayern. I'm loving watching this back.
Yeah, nice vibes. Remember being in the studio for this one, going crazy again. And, you know, at that point, I thought it was quite an even game. So that goal itself was massive, brought so much belief. And then as the game progressed, especially in that final third of the match, I thought City looked a class apart. But obviously the boy Rodri doing...
Look at the style and technique on that. Take
so
it
clean,
onto
isn't
his
it?
left foot.
So clean.
You can see him winding it up, the weaker side, but look at that, how just comes back round. Wonderful finish. Do you know what I really... It's good for him because he's so unselfish. How he plays that role, sits in the middle. Maybe I'm biased for the midfielder, I probably am. But I just think he's been really strong for City, hasn't he? He's got better and better. And it's great to get a bit of reward like the final, like that. You start to kick on, realise you can take a couple of chances, you can get a few shots away from deeper positions, and it's just a wonderful goal.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful celebration. It's a popular celebration in children's football, that now.
The knee slide?
The knee slide with the arms.
With the arms as well?
Yes, with the arms, yep.
Could your knees cope? Could you do it?
I did score enough goals to attempt it. The pitch
you
wasn't
try
really
it?
wet enough. Some of my pitches were a bit drier than normal. So
that's your celebration now.
Yes.
Right.
Right, so your next
If I ever
goal...
score.
Okay.
Your next goal...
Okay.
That's what you've got to remember, right? So your celebration is like Rodri's.
How did he celebrate in Copenhagen? What was your celebration?
I hope he walked back with his head down after squirming it in.
It's funny, there's loads of pictures of like other players jumping on top of me, but in that game they were rebuilding the stand that I scored in. So they had a board up with just pictures of, just drawn pictures of fans. So when we trained there the day before, I said, if I score in that end, I'm going to go and celebrate like that in front of them. I didn't actually think I was going to score the next day, so I ended up doing it. Looking back, it's a bit disrespectful, but, you know, goals are goals, isn't it?
Was you just in shock?
It's come stunned.
You were just in shock.
As soon as that ball left my boot, I was like, what have I done? It's one of the worst finishes you've ever seen. But when it crossed the line, I went in, the relief, the joy, just the moment being able to celebrate. Amazing.
You scored in the Champions League.
I didn't.
No.
I didn't.
What was it in?
It was the UEFA Cup.
You scored in the UEFA Cup.
I did. Just saying Europe. Just saying Europe. It covers
European
everything.
football.
Europe keeps people guessing. It could be anything. It could be the Intertoto. It could be Champions League.
Let's try that again. You scored in Europe for City.
Say less.
There you go. Right, let's have a look now at a goal from the semi-final. I mean, which goal? Because, of course, what a phenomenal performance. Let's have a look. This is the last one. This was Julian Alvarez. I don't know if I'll ever get over this performance. I just don't know. I think it's the most joy I've ever had watching a game of football, and it still makes me immediately smile, Brownie.
You know, I think that was the moment that sort of City went, we are here. We are, you know, here to stay, right at the top of the tree. I don't know what anyone else thought when it was that good a performance, completely battered them, and it was just around the stadium felt amazing.
Oh, it was brilliant.
That's what I felt, and everyone looking at everybody going, is this really happening? Because it was that good a performance, that good a result, and I think it was a key statement, I think, around world football, European football, about Manchester City.
It really was. It really. Just looking back, the electricity of the stadium, the performance, everything. I remember I was sat next to Sean Wright-Phillips in the stadium, and we just kept looking at each other, going, oh, "Is this real? Is this real?" It was a dream, and it sent a message again. Another message, like you say.
It sent a message, but I think it sent a message more so to the City folk as well, you know, whether it's fans, players and so on, because you're doing it to Real Madrid. Like, that same performance could have happened against, say, another side on the other side of the draw, Benfica or AC Milan or whatever. But it's Real Madrid who are, like, objectively the kings of Europe. And they
Champions League, isn't
exactly,
it? It's Real Madrid.
They were pummeled.
They didn't touch the ball inside our half for about 15, 20 minutes. It was ridiculous.
Exactly, and they had that was their best team. They had all their stars out, but they had nothing going for them. So I think the statement was there, and that's going to be the game, which I imagine most people say.
I know the final was the win.
Yeah, but
and it was a grind out of a result, and that was the one that sealed it. But that sort of went to everybody.
I feel like that's
stay it. I feel like that's not going away sort of thing. This is it.
I feel like that's a more memorable game. The final's a more memorable moment of seeing either the goal or the fact that they did it. But everyone can remember how they felt watching that first half of football against Real Madrid, thinking this is the best thing I've ever seen.
The happiest I've ever felt, I think, watching a football game.
Yeah, whereas
watching the game. And at the end of the final was... actually when the whistle went, and it was amazing, and then
but not the game itself.
The whole night, the whole thing was just the celebration, wasn't it? I mean, the joy on the players' faces all throughout that day and next probably 48 and longer hours told you everything about them. Everywhere celebrating what this trophy meant. And it's special, isn't it? You know, to do it over the line, the treble. But again, it's there to do it. It's there to do again, quite comfortably. It's tough, but I just still think nobody wants to play City.
Yeah.
If you're just joining us, we're having a special match day live for the Champions League draw. It's taken place. City will be playing Copenhagen in the last 16. We're using this opportunity to look back on our winning run in the Champions League last season, and we're now up to the final. We've already seen the Rodri goal 3 times on this show, but let's look at it again because it'll never, ever get old. Let's re-look at the moment. You described it as the moment.
That was
Nedum.
the moment when the ball was coming out to him, that sense of anticipation, and everyone just held their breath.
Slow motion?
Yeah, it did. It went in slow motion. Because you just saw him sort of lining up, running to hit it. And it was that sharp intake before everyone then just descended into oblivion.
If you watch the ball, it sort of just stops right there. And it's like, if you've ever been coming onto a ball, and it's just like, it's sat, it's perfect. And he must have looked and thought, his eyes, and you're in that position, this is the chance of a lifetime. And the feeling that must have rushed through his body, it just must have been absolutely amazing, wasn't it? Feeling.
Is that similar feeling to when you swerved the ball in against Copenhagen?
Well, I'm the only person to really talk about that, such, you know, scoring in Europe and stuff, being the only one on this panel and whatever. No, it was nothing like it. But for, imagine that, like, there are so many questions and things which you think about in your life, in your career and stuff, whereby, imagine if I scored a goal in the Champions League final. But then the Champions League final's there, and as you said, Michael, the ball has stopped for him. He's got a chance for a shot at 0-0 to potentially score the winning goal in the Champions League final. Like, doesn't even seem real. You know what I mean?
And I don't know what you think. Do you know when you're going into that position, that the feeling, you know it's there.
Yeah.
And
you're going to rush it or something.
It's a decision of how you take it.
Yeah.
What, and you start to see the dream.
Yeah.
before it happens. You know, whatever game you've ever played in, that's the feeling and that's what you want to do, of scoring that goal, of winning that game. And when it went in, I mean, he must be still, when he sees it or when he laid on the pillow that night and actually realised what he's done. I mean,
He didn't go to sleep that night. He didn't.
Yeah, this is the thing that's quite.
Well, I don't think Jack did.
so he's a really humble guy. Like, everyone loves how he is off the field as well. And I spoke with him recently, and one of the questions was to ask how often has he seen the goal back, and I thought he was going to say, just once or twice. He said he's seen it hundreds of times, and that just goes to show how big the moment is. They'll even have someone break out of their character because you know how important that moment was for you and sort of like the football world as well.
I think he just sits at home.
He just gets you a rush.
He'll be there all the time. There'll be something else will flash up from somewhere else or a particular situation or...
Yeah.
But even like before a game, if he's in the changing room, if I'd scored that goal, I'd probably watch that goal again just before I went out to play.
Going.
Yeah, but the feeling you would get from it, from seeing that moment, the reaction your body would have, you just put yourself in such a good mental space.
Yeah. Without a doubt, it's one of the most important moments in like European football history because his name goes alongside so many others. Like, it's not to say it's the same type of goal, but like thinking about the Zidane flipping like left foot volley, you're thinking about all these things that have happened.
How was that game? They never to be forgotten. Amazing.
That's what I mean.
They
so
just
many
watched
moments.
And went, wow, is that really
so many
happened?
moments,
Yeah.
like say Messi's header or against United and all this stuff. Milito scoring in the final. And then that's you. You're part of that football history. You scored one of the most important goals ever seen.
But again, you're growing up, aren't you? There's certain targets as a kid, and to score the win, I mean,
that's
it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's out of this world.
If we're going to go on and do it again this year, we have to beat Copenhagen in the last 16. Out representing the club in Switzerland for the draw was Cheeky Bergerstein, and we're going to hear from him now.
Cheeky, welcome on beIN Sports and great to see you here today. Just tell us about the draw today.
So, okay, FC Copenhagen, a team that we already play against, so they did very well, I think, at home. Of course, I remember that we could win also at the Etihad Stadium, but what happened 2 years ago it means nothing. So for us, what it means a lot is what they, in a group phase, they've played against Bayern Munich, against Galatasaray, and against Manchester United, and they've been through. They've been the second best team in that group, so it means a lot. So we have to take it seriously and we have to respect what they have done. So something they've done very, very good to stay there.
You're a defending title. Man City won it last year. So how do you see your chances this year?
We have been top of the group. We are doing well in Europe. We are happy when we play that competition, and we want to go through. Of course, we know what it is now to win the Champions League, and we want to do it again. But of course, the opponents they're going to be difficult, and the first one we have to overcome is FC Copenhagen.
Thank you very much. Wish you all the best.
Okay.
That was Cheeky Bergerstein out in Switzerland for today's draw. Thank you for sending in your WhatsApp questions, much appreciated. A few Christmas ones, which I asked for, so I appreciate it. So let's whiz round them quickly. Isla wants to know, what's your favourite Christmas tradition?
For me, very fortunate to be able to host all my family at my place, so having everybody around and just getting a chance to see them, spend time with them, and also having 3 kids now, like, sort of makes you enjoy it just that little bit more because their eyes are still very much shut to what the real world is and expecting something to come through this chimney I don't have. But that's it for me, family time.
Love that.
I just love playing board games and stuff, like when you get aunties, uncles, grandparents, and everyone's just playing different board games. I just think it's so much fun.
What's your board game of choice?
We play all sorts that Articulate, we like.
Are you competitive?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Win.
Don't like losing. Scattergrees is a good one, if anyone's played that. Yeah, it gets pretty heated, to be fair.
OK.
I think for me is I make sure I light the fire, I sit in front of it, and then the children are allowed to come in to the room where it's
you literally sat there.
So I sit where Santa's come in.
OK.
And I sit on the actual front of the fire with the fire on, and then I shout they can come in. And then I just watch their faces as they go around to their spots, and I just think that is the true moment. That's the best moment when the kids, they're getting older now, so it's whether it's as special, but we'll soon see next week or so. But that's the great moment of obviously watching them come in the room and seeing the presents for me.
Love that. What a brilliant question, Isla. Thank you so much. Jessica wants to know, have you finished your Christmas shopping?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well prepared.
Well prepared. The
Everything's
men,
wrapped
did you see
as
these
well.
two went?
Yeah.
Is Christmas today?
No,
It's Christmas today.
got
It's not today,
ages.
is it? So
I've got ages.
nothing to worry about.
I normally go out 23rd or Christmas Eve,
Okay.
and I enjoy going around doing it.
Yeah.
That's so stressful.
I do enjoy
Have
that.
you experienced
But
it?
I'm working Christmas Eve this year, so I might have
It
to go out the
sounds
day
awful.
before.
It's fine. As long as shops are open, you still got time.
You've got loads of time, haven't you?
Yeah,
what
all the
what do you
time in the
need?
world.
Okay, and Josh has said, thank you, Jessica. What's your favourite Christmas song?
Oh,
Mine is I Wish It Could Be Christmas.
That's a good one.
Day. Yeah, that's the
Yeah, I
best.
like that one.
I don't know, you know. I think I just put on anything classic, but then also I quite like some of the newer ones, you know, from like some of the pop artists and whatever.
Yeah, I love Underneath the Tree by Kelly Clarkson.
Really?
Oh, nice!
Is there an
Yeah.
Ariana Grande
Thinking
one as
about
well?
this.
It's
Jingle
popular.
Yeah,
bells.
Santa Tell Me.
Yeah.
Jingle bells.
That's. I like the new ones as well. To be fair.
Like jingle bells.
Do you reckon that'll crack on?
Crack
Yeah,
on,
could be
yeah.
the one.
Yeah, could be.
Jingle bells.
Could be.
Could be a hit, that.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And then my question to you all, thanks, Josh. What's your favourite Christmas film?
From my lifetime, I'd say Home Alone.
Oh, Nedum,
Always.
why have you just said that?
You say Home Alone 2.
What, literally the same or number 2?
Number 2. Number 2.
Sorry, I just
You
I
killed me
jumped
there.
the gun and went first.
Yeah.
It is brilliant,
Okay.
though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You sit
It
is
and watch
brilliant. We've
that.
already
That's
watched it, yeah.
Absolute
Yeah.
class.
Ez?
Well, I hadn't watched many until recently, and people kept telling me off. So recently, I've watched Love Actually and The Holiday, and I like both of them. So one of those two.
Interesting.
I watched The Holiday last week. I love that.
Yeah,
I love
very
that.
So you've
easy
watched Home
watch.
Alone and The Holiday already?
Yeah,
You
I
get
love a
right
Christmas
into the
film.
spirit.
I love a cheesy Christmas film. My favourite Christmas film, though, have you ever seen National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
No, haven't
No, I've
actually.
never even heard of it.
It's my favourite Christmas film. You have to watch it.
Okay.
You have to watch it. Highly recommend.
Die Hard could be on again, couldn't it?
Yeah, why not? I'm with you. Die Hard's a Christmas film.
Is it?
I'm having it. Thank you for your questions, for all your WhatsApp questions about Christmas and other topics as well. Always, we really appreciate you messaging in. So the draw is done. City will be playing Copenhagen in the Champions League. That will take place in February. The first leg, either the 13th or 14th of February or the 20th or 21st of February. And then the second leg is in March. So Champions League draw done. We can now look forward to that. Back to now, and City are currently out in Saudi Arabia. It is the FIFA Club World Cup. We have our first game tomorrow in the semi-final. So we are playing Urawa. Is that how you pronounce Urawa? Urawa Red Diamonds, the Japanese team. But first of all, first time we've ever been in the FIFA Club World Cup. Opportunity to have 5 trophies. I mean, I'm so excited, Michael. How are you feeling?
Well, I know one player in particular wants to lift the trophy. So Mr. Kyle Walker is desperate to lift the trophy. And why not? It'll be special for the club to go and take another historic sort of trophy. I think it's a one. Looking at the sides, you would expect every chance to be able to do it, but no complacency. So it's an interesting trip. I think the only thing, it's going to be a little bit difficult, isn't it, for lots of the supporters to go and actually embrace it and be there. But you know, a great opportunity for the players. Pep Guardiola will be obviously tell him how important it is, and the players will be surely prepared.
Yeah, so if, you know, obviously it's out in Saudi Arabia, but don't worry, we are here for you. Matchday Live with you from 5 p.m. tomorrow, UK time. Kel's here in the studio with Izzy Christiansen, Sean Wright-Phillips and Jolien Lescott. It's not a competition we've ever played in before, Esme. It's the first time we've ever been in it. But I want to win it. I want to win another trophy, and I want to tell everybody that we are the best team in the whole world.
Well, we've got the song, haven't we? Best team in the land and all the world. And if we win this, then there can be no arguments whatsoever. But yeah, I always thought it was an exciting competition. It's pretty cool to be able to be world champions at club level. And obviously you have to be pretty successful to get there and winning the Champions League. We're only the 4th English team to get there, I think. So yeah, hopefully we can come away successful.
Come away successful is the plan. Pep Guardiola's won it before with Barcelona and Bayern Munich. Of course he has, because
Of course, because
Why hasn't he won?
Yes.
Of course he has, yeah.
So, and he'll want it. We know what he's like. We know how competitive he is. We know he wants to win. He's going to want this again. So in terms of the game tomorrow, the Japanese team, they won the Asian Champions League to qualify for it. And of course we had the tour out in Japan in the summer as well. So there's going to be some nice connections there.
Yeah, there will be. And, you know, even though Urawa don't necessarily have the best record in this competition, again, they've earned the right to be there. It's like one of these, like, invitational tournaments where you can't just chance it. You have to work very hard to get the opportunity. And when you have that opportunity, it's not a guarantee you'll be back the next year or the next year or the next year. So I think it'll be a tough game, but the European sides are very much favoured within this tournament. They do very, very well, and it's for a reason.
They've got to be, haven't they?
Exactly.
I think that's the point.
It's for a reason. So I think it'll be a different sort of matchup, and I think I like the idea of playing against different styles of football and different cultures as such, just because it sort of makes you think about the game in a different way, because you're so used to seeing things domestically and to a certain extent around Europe. But do we know how Urawa are going to be going against this City side? Probably not. But yeah.
So Urawa qualified by beating Mexico's Leon in Friday's second-round game to set up the last four tie against City. Brazilian club Fluminense?
Fluminense, yeah.
Fluminense are also in it, and they will play Al Ahly in the other semi-final, which is on Monday as well. Interestingly, I think everybody was keeping an eye out for the... Sorry, Esme, I was trying.
I wasn't laughing until Nedum laughed.
Keeping an eye out for the team, the Saudi Arabian team had Benzema in it, whose name has now gone out of my head.
Al Ittihad.
Al Ittihad.
But they were beaten. They were beaten, so we're not going to see. I think people were keeping an eye out for the team with all the names.
Well, I think that's what it is, isn't it? You know, you're looking to where the best players in the world go, or whatever team they may be, and the rest is a little bit unheard of. So I think that's probably why we targeted that one, and you were thinking they would probably have gone through. But it just tells you in this tournament, again, different styles, as you said. It's not that straightforward, and you don't know too much about the sides. But you know, you'd expect. I don't want to tempt fate, but you'd expect, you know, City to go on and win the trophy, hopefully.
Oh, I just got like goosebumpy there at the idea of it. But I guess in terms of, as we were talking about the Champions League, Esme, is City the team to beat in this? Are we the one that everybody's scared to be playing in this competition?
Yeah, definitely. I think if you look at the winners of the Club World Cup over the last 10, 15, 20 years, the vast majority have been the European teams, and I think the expectation would be there with the calibre of player that City have and the competition that they beat to win the Champions League and obviously get to this stage. They would be expected to win, and I think Urawa, from my research, are the most successful Asian team in their Champions League since it got rebranded. So they're obviously, you know, they're not weak. They've done very well to get there, but you'd expect that City would be a class above, and maybe the Marinos can give us some scouting updates, use a little CFG connection.
Definitely. I know that they're not currently top of the J-League. They're having a difficult season so far, qualified off the back of the success last season, but this season so far it's been more difficult for them. But excellent research. I like someone that does the research before the show as well. Thank you. Thank you so much. That was no dig, by the way. Both of you now think
you looked me in the eye and said you like people that do research. But fine, I'm sure it wasn't a dig.
Thank you, I swear it wasn't. Thank you so much for joining us on this special Matchday Live as we were watching the Champions League draw. City will take on Copenhagen in the final 16. Currently out, of course, in Saudi Arabia for the FIFA Club World Cup. We will play tomorrow in the semi-final. Matchday Live will be here with you from 5 p.m. UK time with Kel in the studio, with Sean Knight-Phillips, Jolene Lescott and Izzy Christiansen. Thank you all of us. Thank you for coming in on your now winter break.
Pleasure.
Much appreciated, and brilliant first half of the season for the women's team. So thank you very much. Thank you for being here, Michael Brown. Thank you, Nedum Onuoha. Thank you very much. Thank you. We really appreciate you. We thank you for scoring in Europe for City.
Yeah, cheers. No,
thank you.
It was a pleasure.
You're welcome. You got 2 months now of thinking about planning your Copenhagen experience.
I think you guys have got 2 months to try and sort of give me the credit I deserve for scoring such an important goal in the club's history. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
He's already planned it. He knew it was coming.
He knew. I'm still up for the minibus idea. I don't know why nobody else is. Minibus to Copenhagen, if you fancy it, let me know. Thank you very much for joining us today. We know who our opponents are in the last 16 of the Champions League as we look to defend our title. We'll see you tomorrow on Matchday Live.
Can I put a few balls? 2 balls? Bottle? Yeah.
Well, I'm feeling generous this year. Oh, this teddy's cute.
Bit like you, miss.
Merry Christmas. Ball. Okay, go on.
Right. This is a lucky kid, Erling.
Yeah.
So we're here and we're going to give some young City fans a little Christmas surprise. You okay? Here we go. You got me top? Put it there, high five.
Merry Christmas and Phil and Ronnie.
How are you, my mate? What's your name?
Yeah, you're good.
How are you?
Yeah, good.
All the better for seeing you, pal.
That's what I was trying to shower
Here's something for you. It's for you.
Want it, kid?
Yeah.
There we go.